Okay, we're good to go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's call. My name is Doug Magruder, and my wife Sonia and we've been with Purium for about 12 and a half years. And it's been quite an entrepreneurial journey in the very best way you can imagine. And part of that is because two of the guys that are going to be coming on the call with me tonight, one is Justin Hansen, and the other is Sam Boersma. And not only are they amazing, amazing business partners, but they've become very dear friends. And we're part of what we call the Mop Club. And it's not really a club, it's just men of Purium. And tonight we're going to give a perspective of men who are being supportive, and it could be men or women, but you're being supportive of the other spouse or partner who is immersed in this business in Purium, and the benefits that can bring by being supportive, and the benefits that it can bring actually to the entire family. Well, the three of us, we have so much gratitude and appreciation for this business and for the owners, Dave and Amy, who we just absolutely love. But it's not just us and our family, it's also the brand partners that we've been able to bring along on this journey. So before we get started here and get into some of the training that we've got planned for tonight, we're going to take a few minutes and just tell a little story maybe about our business story or our business perspective. And I think I'm going to kick that off, and then we can go to either Sam or Justin. And my Purium story, it actually started as a product story, like so many. And of course, we had unbelievable results. And it was soon after that, though, that my wife joined as a brand partner. And I could soon see that this was really her passion. And many of you know we were in the real estate business for many years. And so one day my wife says to me, maybe this was about 2 months after she had become a brand partner, she says, "Did you see the direct deposit from Purium?" And I hadn't. And she said it was equal to the amount of one of our rental properties.
The rent.
The rent from one of our rental properties. And basically, it was like getting another rental property without buying the property, without doing the capital investment, just by sharing this beautiful business with people. So that was kind of the start of me recognizing the potential in this business. And a little while later, my wife asked me to go show a property to an interested buyer, and it happened to be our property. And I went and I showed it, and they weren't interested. And I came back to the office, and my wife says to me, "So did they want to buy a transformation?" She completely had shifted out of real estate mode. So I could see where this was headed. And so at that point, I started studying the comp plan. I knew I was going to have to get involved, and which I did. And so let me pass this off to one of the other guys now, and they can share their quick story. Is Sam on the line?
I'm here.
All right. Here you go, Sam Boersma. Great to see you.
Star Crown.
Thank you, Doug. Well, just like so many of you, the Purium journey started with using the products, which found to be so amazing, but not me first. My wife started using them first. And I was kind of watching in the background, but I saw the great results that she was getting for her health. So I kind of started to sneak some of her Purium. But pretty soon she was like, "Well, shouldn't you just have some of your own order?" And I was in agreement with that. And I've seen so many changes in my own life, and brain fog, inflammation, bloating, all those things have gone away by using these products. But we probably all know that are on here that these products are amazing. But the other part of the amazing journey of Purium is the business model that comes along with that. And not only the business model, but the community, all of you here that make it so wonderful and special. But the business model I found to be super interesting because I come from a construction background, and maybe some of you do. working hard out in the sun. But you're always, as a contractor, you're always chasing money. You have huge investments. And so many times you have customers that no matter how hard you try to make them happy, you can just never make them happy. And so in this business model, it's so amazing because your investment is so small. You work with like-minded people. You get to choose who you want to work with. You get paid every Friday, and once a month your bonuses, but it also has location independence. That's so beautiful. You can travel whenever you want to. Like my wife and I, we were just out of country for over 3 weeks recently. So what an amazing aspect of it. But the other thing I just really love about this opportunity is it allowed Michelle and I to be able to do things together, to work together. We had, so to speak, been in different directions. So I really think about it this way, that I chose to support her dream. I chose to be a part of it. And in doing that, now we are both building a life that we both love and we can be together more. And it is, as married couples, isn't that what you want more than anything? So that's what I really appreciate. And working with Dave and Amy is really a dream also. Justin, on to you, my friend.
Well, at Diamond Club, Sam told me that I stole all the thunder. I think Sam might have just stole all the thunder. And both Doug and Sam are really great friends of mine now, and it's because of this business. But my story is very similar to Sam's. And I agree with a lot of what he said. Like, even growing up, I started in the electrical. I'm not going to go way into that, but I started very young. And I always thought, you were kind of always been taught in school and everything else that you need to get a good job, you need to work hard, and that's the way you're going to be successful. But what I didn't realize is when you do that, sometimes you don't have a future. Companies go under, and you're always looking for the next job. Like Sam said, you're basically trading hours for dollars. I know many of you know Melissa, Sonia, and Michelle, and many others here on this call, but that's kind of what we did. And I knew that my wife, she always loved health and wellness. She's always been into that. So from day one, when we met Sonia, like, I was like, sure, babe, do it. But I never realized what this business would offer for us. And I think, like, a simple example of that is, many know the difference between simple and compound interest. The traditional job is much like simple interest. For instance, if you were to take $10,000 a year and by 5%, that would equal $30,000 at the end of 5%. But if you take that same $10,000 over 20 years at 5% compounding, it's more than 67,000. So it's more than double. So a traditional job is like that simple interest. You're planting a tree that never grows, but may always produce the same amount of food each year. And with compound interest, which our business model, Purium, is like, and Sam mentioned some of the ways that we get paid, it's network marketing. It grows every year. It produces more than it did the year before because the new branches that you bring in produce more fruit. And as spouses, when your wife is just getting into this, if you can understand that powerful concept, the sky is the limit. And I'd like to ask a question and get the group involved a little bit. Option A, option B. Would you rather take $1 million right now if I was to hand it to you? Or would you rather take a penny today that doubled every day for a month? Which one would you take, A or B? In the comments. The penny, of course. And why? Because if you, at the end of that month, that penny would have doubled into $5.3 million. And so the lesson here we can take is that big rewards don't come from these big starts, these big dreams, but it comes from the daily efforts that compound over time, and the consistent growth can create massive results. And so that's a little bit of my story and why I think that this business model, and when we support our spouses in this and take supportive action, which I'm going to turn it back to Doug, and he's going to talk to some of the ways that we can do that. You're muted, Dougie.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to take these 6 subjects tonight, and the 3 of us, myself, Justin, and Sam, we're going to rotate between these subjects. It's going to be like a little symposium presentation, and we'll just keep introducing the next speaker as we go. So I'm going to take the first subject here, focus on shared family goals. So here's a way to explain this is the drive in this business is called our why. That's why we're doing the business. That's what's driving us forward in this business. And so if you're the brand partner, you should have a clear why. And if you're the supportive partner in the relationship here, you should know what that why is. And if you don't, you should discuss it. And let me give you an example of how that proceeded with us. Is once Sonia started doing the business, we were already busy in real estate. We had our hands full and we were caregivers. And I was kind of questioning, why are we adding something else on our plate? And she explained her why to me. She wanted to make enough money on the side by doing this to pay for in-home care for her mother, who had health challenges and was living with us. So the way she explained it, it was so heartfelt that I wanted to be part of it. And of course, I wanted to support it. So naturally, by understanding that, her individual goal and her Purium goal became part of the family long-term goal and focus. And so then we began to work together as a team. So how do we do this? We need to clarify that vision. We need to clarify that why. And that starts by sitting down and discussing it together. So if you haven't discussed the why that the brand partner has, that's a good idea to do that, because this is not just financially, it's emotionally, it's spiritually, it can be physically, and this is what can make a great long-term goal for the family. So one thing that a supportive partner could say is, your success is our success. Let me understand what your next Purium goal is, and let's discuss how I can help you accomplish that. How do you think that would make them feel? Probably pretty great. And that leads to the next subject, which is language that builds confidence. And Sam Boersma is going to tell us some of that language.
Thank you, Doug. We all know that language is very important, right? It's how we communicate, how we get things across. And we also know that language can either be upbuilding or it can be discouraging. And of course, all of us daily, we have different anxieties, different stress that come up against us. We may be tired, we may be frustrated. But as we've been talking about, this business model is so important because of what the family goals may be, just as we were talking about, but also the financial freedom that can come from that. So it's really important for us as husbands or the significant other to be able to be supportive. And as we mentioned, language really is the way we can do that. And not just what we say, but how we say it is just as important to really be encouraging, upbuilding to our partner. So what we have to say, because we should be best friends, right? What we have to say is really important. And we want to use phrases and words that validate our partner, our mate, and really lifts them up and helps them to continue in this business. So how could we do that? What kind of things could we say? Well, they may be feeling very down about, oh, my business seems to be going, very slow. And we can say things like, well, honey, I am so proud of the way that you're building this business, your tenacity, your love for people, the kindness that you show to them. There's so many different ways that we can word things and how we say it to really encourage them. Something else that we could do, or verbiage we could use, but we have to really mean this, is, well, how can I help you today? Maybe they're feeling exhausted, they're feeling distracted, stressed out. How can I help you? I know for me personally, growing up and even in the beginning of our marriage for many years, I found ways to try to avoid the laundry or avoid the dishes. That's not how I am anymore because when I tell Michelle, how can I help you today? Oh, can I swing by and get the cleaning from the dry cleaning? Get that picked up for us? Can I do the dishes? Oh, can I help make dinner or do the dinner myself? See, those types of things can really be encouraging and help to build confidence in this business. And we can also use verbiage that is really like, I believe in you. You have what it takes to be successful or even be super successful in this business. So it's really about our word choices and what we choose to do with our attitude about this business. And one other way that we can do this to make it a teamwork is say something to the effect of, hey, let's make a plan. Let's work this into our family plan or our family goal of what we want to accomplish in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years down the road. See, those things, they solidify us together on into a common goal, a common perspective, and she will be successful, but so will we. And we will be so appreciative of our support. We'll appreciate it, but no doubt our partner will appreciate it even more. Let's give our attention now to Justin Hansen as he talks about take supportive actions, please.
Sam, you're stealing all my thunder again. So to
Beautifully
support,
said.
beautifully said, Sam, of course. So, and if any of you know me and you can see the picture that's on the screen, I probably get made fun of this, but that's like literally kind of like what my life looks like now. And I wouldn't take it back for anything else. I mean, I never thought I would not be twisting wire nuts, doing electrical, but here I am doing things like where before doing the dishes, doing the laundry, going grocery shopping was like the last thing that I ever wanted to do when I got home from work. But now I don't want my wife doing that because it takes her away from what she's good at. And that's like making the phone calls. And when she's making phone calls, that's what's building our business. So even now, like obviously I support Melissa full time, but before that, I could see if I was getting home from work and she was on the phone calls. I've been gone all day. I want to hang out with my wife. It could be maybe a little frustrating thinking that like, man, she's on the phone again. But what I realized is by her being on the phone is what was able to help create the business and the life that we're able to live today. So to me, doing dishes, doing the laundry, going grocery shopping, going to the dry cleaner, doing these little errands that help her stay in her zone is what's made this business grow, and the supportive actions that I've been able to do to help her with that. And honestly, I think Sam said a lot more beautifully than I did. And I'd like to move on to the next point and how we can keep. Doug's got the next point. I don't have the next point on it. It's point number 4 about how guard against the subtle resentment that you can have if you're not helping out. Dougie.
Exactly. And you do good work, Justin. Listen, even if jealousy isn't displayed outwardly, subtle feelings can creep in. So, how about this? Of course, there's another launch Zoom. While you're building your empire, I guess I'll do dinner again. And show a pouty face. Well, okay, how do we think that would make them feel if we act like that? Of course, nobody's going to feel good at the end of making statements like that. So instead of having that kind of attitude, how about a little bit of gratitude? Isn't that what really makes partnerships work?
Yes.
Okay. Well, shifting those feelings can bring positive results in the business. So it's really clear communication that we have to have. So if you're feeling left out, how about finding some ways you can be part of the partnership part of the process so you can be involved. This is not a comparison between what each individual person in the relationship is doing. It's both working towards the family objective, towards the family goals. It's both of them are contributing to the family. So instead of acting like that, we could be a safe place for our partner when they're under stressful conditions. And Sam is going to tell us a little bit about how we can be that safe place.
We know that there's so much negativity in the world around us today, wouldn't you agree? So, think about a soldier of old times, like a Roman soldier. What did he carry? He had a sword in one hand, but he carried a shield in the other hand, and that could block out anything that could be damaging to him. So, think about this, guys, mops. We need to be that shield for our wife. Any kind of negativity, distractions, discouragement, we want to, so to speak, suck it up. We want to be that shield to be able to help them. Because if they get ground down by this negativity, what are they going to do? They're just going to think in their mind, I got nobody supporting me. I just don't know if I can do this. And you know what? I'm just going to give up because it's just not worth it. But if we're there to help them and be that safe haven or that shield to assist them, then what's their thought process? Oh, I've got his support. I've got his help. You know what? I think I can do this. It's like, I remember there was a story when we were young. I think it was a train called Toodle. I think I can. I think I can. He could climb this hill. And that's how we can help each other. That, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I can be better at this business. So by being the safe haven, what do we want to be? We want to be that emotional buffer and suck up that negativity, as we mentioned. So one way we can do this is by being a listening ear. That sounds easy, doesn't it? But I know as men, it's not as easy, because what do we want to do sometimes? We're the fixers, right? That's how men are. We're wired. It's like, oh, there's a problem. I got the answer. And she's not even done talking yet, right? So let her talk. Don't interrupt. Let her just share with you, dump that load, so to speak. And you be that shield, that buffer that just absorbs whatever she needs to say. Also, that you can be that positive force in her life. Whatever the situation is, honey, I've got your back. I'm here to support you through thick and thin. No matter what takes place, I'm here. I got you. How does that make a person feel? How does it make you feel when somebody has told you that in the past? Wow, it gives you new confidence, doesn't it? So that's what we can really do, is we give them that confidence. We make them feel loved and supported to be able to continue on in this business, which, once again, as we're talking about, this is the vehicle to help our family reach its goals and to have that financial freedom down the road if that's our goal. So all of this verbiage, these words, they're deeply powerful. And why? Not because they're just from anybody, but because they're from their best friend, someone who loves them. So share those words as much as you can so you can encourage them and upbuild them. They'll feel that safe haven and that they can continue on in this process of working their Purium business, but being successful also. So now, my buddy Justin, are you ready for Keep the Partnership Strong? Hopefully I didn't steal any of your thunder this time.
Man, I think you can just keep going, Sam. But to reiterate kind of everything that Sam said, the one thing I like was the analogy on the train. I think I can. I think I can. What if that train had someone pushing from behind? It would get to the top of that. It would get to the top of that hill so much easier. So well said, Sam. I love sports analogies. And if anybody knows, and I'm sure a lot of the guys on here do, so sorry if I'm losing you ladies, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the greatest three-point shooter of all time. He like literally shoots the ball from half court. He turns around before the ball even goes into the hoop because he knows he's made it. The guy is unbelievable. And people think that like, oh, the guy is just so gifted. But what so many people didn't see about Steph Curry is that Steph Curry takes over 500 3-point shots a day. 7 days a week, he's done this. He's done this for more than 15 years before he was in college, before he was famous. And so 3,500 shots a day, that's 168,000 shots per year. Over 2 million shots in his lifetime. But he's only made 3,600 shots in his NBA career. That's less than 0.5%. So why am I telling you this story? What most people don't know is that it was his dad that supported him to keep him going. In fact, he was such a strong support system that he's an all-star. Every year he's been in the league pretty much. And most people don't even know what his dad's name is. So to be a strong support doesn't mean that we have to be in the front. This business is based on making phone calls. That's taking 500 shots a day sometimes. It may feel like it, but it's those phone calls that even if 0.1% and the women on this call, they find someone that can run with them, that's the way this business will grow, and you get rewarded for what that is. So I like that there was a saying that says you get rewarded in public. So you see Sonia, Melissa, some of these people on the Zoom so many times on these Tuesday night calls. You get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. So the good thing about this business is that we're not alone. And if you have a spouse or a partner that can be a strong support system, it can spark your wife to build this business. The support in this business is absolutely priceless. So with that being said, I want to introduce you tonight. We're going to talk to the three ladies that are in the forefront of our Purium, our family business. And to do that, I want to introduce you to our leader, our mentor, Sonia Magruder.
Thank you so much, Justin. You guys are amazing, killing it tonight. Everybody, not only do we have a lot in the chat, people are texting me how much they love this call and everything that you three are sharing and shared. So thank you so much for that. And like Doug said at the beginning, a big part of why we love this business so much is the relationships that we've been able to build with our team members, many who have become like family to us. And Justin and Melissa, Sam and Michelle, and many others here that are on the Zoom tonight, who we appreciate so much, because not only has the business given us so much freedom and true financial freedom, having the income, but also having the time to enjoy the resources and not being on a hamster wheel, but it's done it for so many other people that just happen to have a big why, like Doug said, happen to be coachable, especially if they are in a partnership. Having a supportive spouse is so important. So Melissa and Michelle, I know, are going to chime in. Two of our amazing 5-star crown and 2-star crown leaders are going to chime in tonight. And then we're all going to chime in a little bit about convention at the end. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with what these fellas said. And I like the part where it was mentioned, it's not just what's said, but it's how it's said. I learned that communication, what we say is only 7% of our communication. The rest is body language and tone. It could be, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead, jump on another Zoom. Or, of course, it's fine. Jump on another Zoom. The tone is everything. So being supportive makes this job so much easier. I'm grateful to say that I've always had the support from Justin and my family. And I don't take it for granted because I know not everybody does. Some people are guilted by their family who just don't understand. They don't get the big picture. They don't get what they're trying to build here and how it's going to lighten the burden for all the family members. So thank you so much for everyone that's on this tonight, because I think these reminders are priceless. I think they're going to go a long way in helping create the vision of what's possible here and smooth out any future contentions, because it takes teamwork to make this dream work. And the support from the hubbies, or maybe you're the hubby working the business and you need support from your wife, but the support from the family goes a really long way. So we really, really appreciate this call. And Sam, Justin, and Doug, you guys are killing it, and we really appreciate your support.
Is Michelle on? Michelle Boersma, Party of One.
Michelle, unmute yourself.
Oh. Michelle's not able to unmute. Michelle, if you're with Sam, just go to his computer and share with him if you're together. And if you're not, Sonia and I will take it from here.
Let me
We can unmute her.
Hold on. Let me see if I can unmute Michelle. Okay, there we go. Ask to unmute. And Michelle is a co-host.
I said it's not working for her.
She should just come downstairs then.
Yeah, just go downstairs, Michelle, and join Sam, because we love hearing from Michelle. Michelle always has such wonderful words of wisdom. So, but we'll talk a little bit. There she is. There's our beautiful Michelle. Yay.
Hey guys, sorry about that. Okay, so let me turn off my background here. Yeah, this call it's awesome, and I feel like it's so needed because this should be a partnership. We've partnered with Dave, we've partnered with Amy, we've all partnered with each other. We want to partner with the love of our life as well. And I was thinking about how, maybe if you've been somewhere, a sunset, or you're looking at something that's just so incredibly beautiful, and if you're alone, the person that you love isn't there, you're thinking the whole time like, oh man, I wish they were here. I wish they were experiencing this. I want them to be a part of this. That's how it is with this business. It's so incredible. So to not be able to share it, I know for myself, when I started, I didn't have a single family member that was very supportive, I'll say, wanted to even try Purium for the first year. But I had my husband who, after 2-3 months, was thankfully open to seeing what was possible here. This has changed everything for us. So yeah, it's wonderful to have a teammate, to have a partner, and all of the suggestions that you guys gave tonight. They're gold, because this is fun. We should have fun doing this business with the person that we love, and all those little tips help make that even more possible.
So true. So let's talk a little bit about convention, because we have seen at in-person events, all of us, many of us, not just me, Melissa, Michelle, and Justin, Sam, and Doug, but many of us have seen what's happened when a spouse or partner comes to the convention. And I remember one, and Diamond Club too. And let me just say this. If you want to get to Diamond Club in November, you best be getting to convention, because that's what's going to fuel you to get there and bring some brand partners with you. That's what's really going to catapult you to get to Diamond Club. So I don't want anybody to think like, well, I won't go to convention, I'll just go to Diamond Club. But if you want a shot at Diamond Club, definitely come to convention. But at one of the Diamond Clubs, I remember a couple of wives were like, oh, my husband, I felt like I kind of had to drag him here. I wasn't sure how he was going. And then the husbands, they totally loved it. They felt what was going on. They felt the energy. They felt the love and the community that we have. And they got to meet Dave and Amy, and they got to see what those two people are really about, that they're really about the mission of helping people get healthier, that they're so genuine and sincere. And seeing or hearing, even at convention, hearing their processes. They do touch on some of this, like at the last convention, they even had the organic farmer, one of the farmers that they get the ingredients from. So getting your spouse to convention will be a game changer, and can't recommend that enough. I remember one of the wives, and it was at a Diamond Club, they had everybody write the letter that gets sent back to you. And she was like, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what he's thinking or if he really is into it. And then he's over there writing his letter. And now he's all in and they're doing this business together. And it's just helping her grow even more, having that lift underneath her, helping her. So, Melissa and Michelle, I know you've had stories and experiences about convention too. Can't emphasize it enough how important it is to get there. Whoever wants to unmute next, Melissa or Michelle.
Yeah, so last year was our first convention that we've attended, and again, being able to do that together, I can't imagine. And I know, everybody's circumstance is different. And maybe you're a single person, you don't really have a significant other in your life, but you're building a team and you have people on your team that do have a significant other at this time. So it's important to understand the importance of, if you have a partner, bringing them along and letting them really feel and see it's palpable when you're there. The energy, the excitement, it really shows what we're a part of, what we get to be a part of. Not only is it educational, but the community, the bonding with Dave and Amy. This year we're going to have the guest speaker. It's going to be amazing. So if at all possible, if you have a partner, tell them to come, because again, back to that analogy, the whole time you're going to be like, oh, I wish they were here. I wish they were hearing this. I wish they were feeling this, because it's incredible. And I know on our team, those that have brought their significant other, it's so amazing to see the shift take place from even the body language and the facial expression from first arriving at the convention to the end of the convention, and the smiles and the hugs and the energy and the inspiration and the motivation and the gratitude of what we have here. And so to share that as a couple, yeah, that's gold. And that energy is, you're going to bring it home, and then that's going to be duplicated on your team too with others.
Sonia, I totally agree with what Michelle said. The energy there is amazing, because coming from a corporate world, I worked for a big electrical contractor, and yeah, they might have an end of the year party or like an appreciation dinner, but it's kind of cold. It's not like you really know any of these people. When you come to one of these events, everybody wants you to succeed in your business, and it's a beautiful, everyone's welcoming, and you just get the energy, and then your business builds off of that. And another point that I was thinking too, that I should have mentioned earlier for guys too, we're always like, oh, well, what's the bottom line? What's the bottom line? With Sam and I, when we worked in construction, there were some times where you didn't get paid for a month, or you would even get stiffed on jobs. Me and Sam were talking about that. We've been stiffed on jobs. People are like, well, sorry, I just don't have the money to pay you. With Purium, it's different. You literally get paid every Friday like clockwork, and then you get your bonus check. So you actually get paid 5 times a month. There's no other job I had, whether it was like I was working for somebody or my own business, where I got paid like that. This business, you get that. Plus you get this community, this beautiful convention. I mean, if I could say one thing, come to convention, because you will see, and especially like if you're not a brand partner and you're not doing the business, but you're on this call because you just wanted to listen in, come check it out. See, I promise you'll have a whole different perspective after you go.
Couldn't agree more. When the husbands come to this convention and they hear from the owners themselves, and they hear from the top leaders, the education and the support that their wives are actually getting, it's the light bulb moment. Like, wow, this company's legit. This is the real deal. If these people could retire their spouse, why not our family? Maybe it is possible. It paints the reality of what could really happen for them. Because I know a lot on my team, when they come on board, their husbands don't have an exit strategy. Maybe they're making great money with their current position, but there's really no exit strategy, especially as business owners. So to have this, like, whoa, this is the real deal. This could really change things for our family. This could get us out of debt. This could help me work less hours. I was able to hear this over and over and over again from husbands who saw it, who felt it. They felt the community, they felt the confidence there, and it was a game changer. And those who make it to convention, you know, with business partners, some come, some go, but when they make it to convention, they're there for the long haul. They're the ones who stick with this business, because the only way to fail at this business is if you quit. That is the only way, because this is a numbers game, just like Justin said for those sport analogies. This is a numbers game. You have to make the shots to get the winning goal, and that's what this is all about. So convention is a necessity. If you, anything you can do to make it there, you won't regret it.
Thanks everyone for joining us tonight, and thank you guys for a great job.
And bring your spouses to convention. They're going to get to hang out with all of us mops.
Have a great evening.